Had head coach Heather Dyke an opportunity just to kind of wrap up the season. Another good year for the women's soccer team. Played for the Mountain West title in the tournament for the second straight year. Unfortunately, lost 1-0 to San Jose State. And really, it was a great month of October that helped propel them to that point. They were unbeaten, and San Jose State was the last team to beat them prior to the conference tournament. So a lot of great things. We had 5 all-conference players, 3 on the first team, most since 2010. So, Coach Dyke.
Yeah, my heart's still a little bit broken, to be honest, but another really cool run, and especially at the end of the year with a young team, and a great run in the tournament, which is always kind of emotion-packed, and you're staying in a hotel together for 10 days, which is a long time together and a long time away from school. So for those guys to step up and be able to do what they did again this year was pretty impressive. And then last year in the final against San Diego State, I really thought they were the better team. Thought we would have had to get lucky to beat them, and this year I felt the opposite. Really, I think statistically in being at that game, we probably deserved a win, but soccer is a cruel game that way where statistics often don't reflect the winner. So a bit of a heartbreaker, and then it just ends abruptly. So you put all this time and energy into something, and then it just stops. So it takes a couple days to not feel a little bit hollow inside. But I think reflecting on the season, one that we're really proud of individually and really proud of with our team, and although we lose 3 pretty phenomenal seniors, we are excited about the future and where the program is headed, and on and off the field. So tough way to end, but we'll keep plugging away.
You've got to be excited going into next year. You know, you mentioned you only lose 3 seniors. Last year's team you lost, I think it was 10 of that squad. You know, to have such a young team and to be back in this spot and to be able to build with all these kids off of this year, you know, it's got to be exciting looking ahead.
Yeah, I mean, I think at the end of the year, 3 of our freshmen were starting and contributing pretty significantly, and I actually think some of our freshmen that didn't get some of the minutes this year are equally as good. They just happen to be playing behind someone who may have been kind of owning their position. So we're really excited about that. We've got a great recruiting class coming in, a couple international kids, which is kind of a first, at least since we've been here for our program, and I think they bring a different maturity and experience, and that part of it's exciting. We have 2 kids coming in the spring, which is, again, something new as far as our staff being here, because it allows them almost an entire season to kind of get used to the pace of it, and hopefully in the fall they're ready to compete instead of being a little bit shocked, you know. So we're really, really excited about where our program is and the kids that we have here, and just kind of the character and the culture of what these kids do every day. It's a fun program to be a part of.
What is the one big takeaway from the season?
Big takeaway from the season, I think as a staff this year, we made a really conscious decision to be process-oriented, to stay tuned in to every day getting better. And that's hard to do because the way women's soccer is for our conferences, the non-conference season really doesn't matter. We're a one-bid team until we start to, in my opinion, schedule a little bit differently. But that's not really up to us. So the conference becomes so results-driven that I think this year we tried to stay really tuned into us and being good at what we're good at. And I think because of that, we continue to get better the whole year instead of at the end of last year, I felt like we were just trying to put Band-Aids on where we were a little bit run down. So I think staying tuned into the process and staying focused on that part of it really benefit us in a positive way.
Coach, to get an at-large bid in the future, you mentioned you're going to schedule differently.
Yeah.
I mean, is it with this young team, you got a lot of people coming back, would it be to your advantage to try to get, because the RPIs in your conference is not good enough to propel you to the next level on the at-large bid? Yeah,
our conference mandates how we schedule. So we don't get to choose who we play. We have to play teams within a certain RPI. Yeah, so that's not up to us. If it was up to me, we try to play the best all the time and see where we're at. And even if you lose to them, I'd rather be playing those teams and learn and get better. But that's not up to us in our conference. We're required to schedule a certain way.
So it's always going to be whoever wins and that's it? The way it sounds? I
mean, I think the idea behind a group scheduling is that overall the RPI of the conference will continue to grow. I mean, that's not happening yet. So I think we meet as head coaches in January. And I know that's something in speaking to the other head coaches in the conference that we all feel a little bit handcuffed by. Yeah, so I think it's something that's definitely worth reviewing because obviously it's done with the intent of raising the RPI of the entire conference, but if it's not being successful, then let's look at it again. But until they give us freedom to schedule the way we want, then that's not up to us.
From last year to this season, were there any other opportunities for you? Did you think about going anywhere else for coaching?
I mean, I'm fortunate that I get to do some things outside of here, and I think college can kind of become a little bit of a bubble, you know, but I'm from here. I don't want to go anywhere else. I'm really proud to wear New Mexico on my chest, and it's a big deal to me. So I'm not looking and don't intend on going anywhere. I'm proud to be here.
With that conference RPI, is that something that they like adjust? Like if the RPI of the conference as a whole was growing, would they, move up the bracket that you're supposed to be scheduling in, so that you aren't quite so handcuffed by it, or is it?
Yeah, so it's done on a tier system. So depending on where you finish in the conference, you get to play a certain percentage of teams within different RPIs. And the idea is that if you schedule those teams, then ultimately it'll lead to your RPI growing. The problem with that is that if you're playing teams with a really high RPI, which is high being bad, and you lose, then it's really detrimental. And so there's not this huge disparity in women's soccer between, I mean, like we had a really tough game with some teams that have poor RPIs, but if you lose those, you're in big trouble. And to be honest, even if you play them and win, you're in big trouble. So I think it's worth reviewing. I think it's always worth reviewing any process or system that isn't working the way you want it to. You got to look at it, but I'm sure we'll do that again in January.
So it sounds like you're the only one that women's soccer that hasn't scheduled their own schedule. And all the other sports that we have, they do their own schedule. That
Yeah.
makes sense.
We do our own schedule, but the schedule has to be, you have to play teams within a certain RPI rating. So you don't have freedom just to schedule whoever you want. But
So you do the schedule, but it
Right.
has to be okay.
So they say you have to play 30% of your games against teams that are this RPI range. You can try and pick who those teams are within, your power of getting them here or within a reasonable travel. So we do have freedom, but honestly, I can't speak to the other teams. I don't know if they have the same rules or not.
Anything else for Coach? Thank you.
Thanks, guys.
Thank you.